Hey everyone, Eric here. Welcome. Okay, picture this. You're at that dinner. You know the one. Super important for business, full of people you absolutely need to connect with. So you grab your drink, you walk over, and then nothing. Your mind is a total blank. All you can manage is something lame about the weather. Ugh. If that scenario makes you cringe because it's just a little too real, then stick around. This is for you.
So let's just be honest. Are you afraid of small talk? Does that idea of awkward chat just fill you with dread, whether you're at a company event or even just with family? Look, you are definitely not alone. But here's a thought. What if that thing we dismiss as small talk is actually one of the most powerful skills you can have in your professional toolbox? To really get this, we're going to look at a concept from Japan. They have a word for this, and it's called Zatsudan Royu. It literally means the power of casual conversation. And we're diving into it today through the eyes of Junko Okamoto. Now, she's a top-tier communication coach for executives in Japan, and she found something fascinating. The same people who can close multi-billion-dollar deals, they totally freeze up when it comes to just a simple lunch conversation. Isn't that wild? And this right here, this is the core of it all. According to Okamoto, great conversation has nothing to do with being the most clever or witty person in the room. It's not about your performance at all. It's about making the other person feel seen, feel understood, feel valued. Really, it's just an act of empathy. Okay, so before we jump into the how-tos, we've got to clear out some of the mental roadblocks that are holding us back, right? Let's start by totally debunking 3 big myths that make us so afraid of conversation in the first place. You've got to understand the why before the what.
All right, myth number 1. And this one is huge, especially for us in the business world. It's the idea that every single chat has to have a point, a useful conclusion. We live by agendas, by goals, by KPIs, right? So a conversation that doesn't solve something feels like, well, a waste of time. But that's thinking about it all wrong. Small talk isn't there to solve a problem. Think of it as the lubricant for the engine of human connection. It's the warm-up lap. Without it, the real work just can't get started.
Okay, myth number 2. The conversation has to be about me. You know what I mean. We feel this pressure to impress everyone with our big wins, our brilliant insights, our amazing stories. We basically turn the conversation into our own personal press conference. But here's the secret. The true masters of conversation, they do the complete opposite. Their goal is to make the other person the star of the show. And that leads us to a really simple but powerful rule, the 80-20 rule of conversation. It's easy. You should be spending 80% of your time listening, asking good questions, and just drawing the other person out, and only 20% of the time talking about yourself. You're not the actor on stage, you're the person operating the spotlight, shining it right on them. And the crazy part? When you do this, they walk away thinking that you are one of the most interesting and charismatic people they've ever met. It's wild, but it works. Now this last myth, this one hits home for a lot of people. It's that feeling of, my life is just boring. I have nothing cool to share. If that's you, I've got some really good news. There's no such thing as a boring person. There's only a lack of curiosity about our own lives. I mean, a story about the weird thing your neighbor's cat did, or that incredibly spicy mapo tofu you had yesterday, that can be a fantastic conversation starter. You just have to learn how to spot these little shining fragments in your day-to-day life. All right, now that we've busted those myths, it's time to get practical. Let's build your toolkit. We're going to go through 5 golden rules from the masters. These are simple, they're actionable, and trust me, they're super effective. Rule number 1 is all about breaking the ice. It's a 2-part formula. First, find just one common point. It could be anything. You both use the same brand of laptop, you grew up in the same area, you both hate traffic, anything. This instantly shifts the vibe from me versus you to us. Part 2, find 3 shining points to praise. And I'm not talking about cheap flattery. I mean specific, genuine compliments. Maybe about a great point they made in a meeting, or their cool watch, or their insightful article. Okay, rule 2. This is your active listening toolkit. It's 3 simple steps. First step, surprise, indicated by an exclamation mark. When they share something, a little, oh, wow, or really, goes a long way. It shows you're engaged. Second step, re-ask, the question mark. Just pick up on a keyword they said and ask about it. Like, if they say, I just got back from hiking, you can say, oh, hiking? Where'd you go? It proves you were actually listening. And the third step, resonate. That's the tilde. This is about empathy. Just acknowledge their feelings. Something like, wow, that must have been so frustrating. It makes them feel understood. Rule number 3 is huge. Master the art of the question. You see, not all questions are born equal. A weak question like, do you like to travel? Just gets you a yes or no. Conversation over. Dead end. But a strong question, an open-ended question that invites a story. So instead of do you like travel, try asking, if you had a month off, all expenses paid, where would you go and why? See the difference? You're not just asking a question, you're handing them the microphone and saying, tell me a story.
Now, Rule 4 is a bit of a curveball. It feels totally counterintuitive. We're wired to share our wins to impress people, right? But think about it. Constant success stories can actually create distance, maybe even a little jealousy. But sharing a small, relatable failure, like the time you completely bombed your first big presentation, that does the opposite. It makes you human, it makes you authentic, it builds trust like almost nothing else. It's a shortcut to real connection.
And finally, rule number 5. This one is all about mindset. A lot of high achievers think of casual chat as fluff, as something unimportant that gets in the way of real work. Okamoto says this is a massive mistake. You have to see every single conversation, even the 30-second one in the elevator, as a micro-investment in your relationships. So treat it with respect. Prepare. Before you meet someone, just take a moment. Who is this person? What might they be into? What's one thing I can ask or share? That little bit of preparation, that will make you stand out from everyone else.
Okay, theory is one thing, but let's put this into practice. How does this actually look in the real world? We're going to role-play a situation that I'm sure is familiar to many of you. That nerve-wracking first meeting with a really important potential client. Let's see how these rules totally change the game.
So here's the way most people do it, the wrong way. You walk in, shake hands, sit down, and boom. Hello, I'm here to tell you about our product. You jump right into the pitch. What happens? The air gets thick with tension. The client's guard goes up immediately. You've built a wall between you two before you've even had a chance. It's cold, it's transactional, and it rarely works. Okay, let's hit rewind and try this again, but with the master's approach. You walk in, but instead of pitching, you just look around. You notice the view. You start with rule number 1. Wow, your office has an incredible view. That must be so inspiring to see every day. It's simple, it's sincere, and just like that, the entire atmosphere shifts. You're not a salesperson anymore. You're just two people having a conversation.
Then, you keep observing. You spot a business book on their desk. Now here's where you combine a couple of our rules. You use rule #1, finding a common point, but you mix in a little bit of rule #4, showing vulnerability. You say, hey, I see you're reading that book. I'm actually reading it too, but to be honest, I'm finding some of the concepts pretty complex. Boom, you've just invited them to be the expert, to teach you something.
And here's the final piece. You seal the deal with rule number 3, a great open-ended question. As a senior manager, I'd be curious to hear how you think about actually applying these theories in the real world. Just look at what you've done. You've turned a sales pitch into a consultation. You're not there to sell something anymore. You're a curious peer asking for their wisdom. And when you finally do talk business, believe me, the whole game has changed.
So, we've gone through a lot, haven't we? We've torn down the myths that stop us and built up a toolkit of rules to move us forward. So let's wrap this up and boil it down to the essential message.
So what do you really need to remember from all this? Here are the big takeaways. First, stop trying so hard to be useful and just focus on connecting. Second, make the other person the hero of the story, not you. Third, start digging for the gold in your own daily life. It's full of stories. And last, listen with everything you've got, with surprise, with genuine curiosity, and with empathy.
And in the end, it really all comes down to this one profound idea. Chatting isn't a competition. It's not about being the wittiest person in the room. It's not about delivering a flawless speech. It's just about showing another person that for these few minutes here together, you truly, genuinely care. It's a simple, gentle act of caring.
I really hope these ideas can help you feel more confident in your next conversation. If you got something valuable out of this explainer today, please do me a favor and hit like, subscribe, and maybe share it with a friend or colleague who could use it. And hey, if there's a book you've been wanting to read but just don't have the time for, let us know in the comments. We'd love to cover it for you. I'm Eric. Thanks so much for your time. See you in the next one.